Okay, and we're here for another fun-filled study time on the American Revolution using your red flashcards. Red means the Patriot blood and the British redcoats. All right, let's get started. King George, who was the King of England, is going to have a war with the French and the Indians. They are trying to get the land of North America to determine who will be the greatest power. This is important because the French will lose all their lands and the Native Americans will continue to fight. This is an expensive war. So King George comes up with an idea called the Proclamation Line of 1763. See the line there along the Appalachian Mountains. This line forbids all colonial settlement, making the lands reserved for Native Americans. Well, of course, that's going to make the Americans angry because they don't have land anymore. Well, since it was an expensive war, the king decides we're going to have to make tariffs. A tariff, see the T, is a tax, usually on imported goods that come from other countries. One of the taxes was the Sugar Act, but another one that they were really angry about was the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act, they would have to pay a stamp on all printed materials to help them pay the debt from the French and Indian War. Well, the colonists didn't get to vote on this, and they claimed taxation without representation. They didn't vote on this, so they were very angry. This is the colonial grievance, having to pay without having a say. They were so angry, many times they would attack the tax collector. And one time they went to the tax collector in Boston. As they were there were redcoats that were there protecting the tax collector. We see this propaganda image by Paul Revere showing the, poor, totally unarmed Americans just savagely executed by the the redcoats. Well, of course, that's propaganda. Crispus Attucks was one of these patriots that died. He was an African American, and we see in actually some of the pictures, they were actually armed. Crispus Attucks was attacked. Get it? Crispus Attucks, attacked. Well, then another leader of rebellion was Sam Adams. Yes, the beer guy. Sam Adams was the leader of the Sons of Liberty in Boston. Many times the Sons of Liberty did actually meet in a tavern. They met together and they decided they were going to get rid of the tea that was from the Tea Act. And they had the Tea Party. Now, they were angry about the tea because although it dropped the price, they were angry that the Tea Act made a monopoly for British tea. Well, this is going to result in the coercive acts, as the British called them. Coercive means force, but the colonists called them intolerable. That was mainly because the British forced them to pay for the $15 million of tea that they had destroyed. And you can see in this political cartoon how they felt trapped. The intolerable acts. The British closed the Boston harbor. All imports and exports were cut off to punish them for the ruined tea. Well, this leads to a man named Thomas Paine. In 1776, he sent out the word that kings are bad. He said it's just common sense that people should rule themselves, that we should not be ruled by a tyrant. Well, think about that. He's a pain to the king. And there was another guy who said we need to have independence, and that was Patrick Henry. See him standing there. He was a great orator, and he said, "Give me liberty or give me death," that freedom was worth dying for. That is the causes of the American Revolution.